This is a story that should absolutely piss you off. For that, we introduce Arkansas trooper Michael Austin Kennedy. The man is no longer employed for a reason, and you're about to see why. So this man is very divorced. I mean, he is really divorced. His wife, whose name is Alana, was seeking sole custody with visitation rights for Michael Austin Kennedy. She would file a 2-page complaint in Saline County Court, explaining that the couple had married in January 2014. They separated 12 years later, and she was now seeking a formal divorce with joint custody. They have 2 kids together. So what exactly was revealed? Well, in those divorce proceedings, we learn Kennedy's wife said he is, and I quote, a white supremacist, and as such is going to poison the minds of the children with his views and actions. Her words. The texts that were presented in court would show the now former trooper using racial slurs. He would use the N-word and the S-word in almost every message that was published in Alana's complaint. This is where it gets even more disgusting. Kennedy allegedly sent his wife texts such as these. KATV wrote, he also sent hate speech memes and photos of himself posing with a suspect who was arrested while Kennedy was working as a trooper. And he referred to the suspect using Hispanic slurs. One must think, how common is this? Quite should be your answer. In those texts, we would see he drops Ben Shapiro's outlet, The Daily Wire. Very, very telling. It reminds me of when we went over body cam footage of one trooper showing his racism while listening to Sirius XM host and somehow to some friend of the network, Megyn Kelly. I need this war, he would write above an article about the self-induced male loneliness epidemic and the allegation of Venezuelan gangs. Oh, some of us dropped the ball there on a fake story. He would drop the N-word in a text where he defended Daniel Penny, the same guy who killed a Michael Jackson-like street performer on a train, on the subway rather, in New York City. He would say, and I quote, none of those N-words deserve to live. He would also refer to black folks as gorillas, a old trope, racist trope that not only did a trooper say, but also the President of the United States put out on Truth Social to mock the former President Barack Obama and the former First Lady Michelle Obama. When Alana texted him that traffic was backed up, Kennedy used another slur for Hispanic people and claimed, again, without knowing, they're illegals. That would also lead Kennedy to complaining about what exactly? A Trump staple? The border. We're backed up here because of the border. He'd use a slur that attacks a member of the LGBTQ plus community. Again, no surprises here. When the shooting in New Orleans took place, he used sand N-word in a text message. This is a person who is supposed to be protecting every single American, no matter what they look like, no matter their skin color. He sent his wife a screenshot about how white areas are just nicer in the United States of America. He would go on to call black people, quote, subhuman trash. Here's another gem by this loser. Quote, Islam is at odds with a free society. I guarantee he got that from Andrew Tate and many others within the manosphere orbit. He hated how there were only 3 white girls for some homecoming event, and he would accompany his complaining with a blaccent in a text. Then he would argue, to his wife, mind you, that the 19th Amendment should be repealed. He doesn't think women should vote. He doesn't think his own wife should vote. This is Republican politics. And thus, as I alluded to, he would go on to resign, rightfully. What I think is rather revealing is how many studies we have, how many of these stories we are already supplied with, knowing that the foundational roots are still being carried out to this day in this entire industry of policing. The Supreme Court allowed stop and frisk to come back, which is rooted in racism. And now we are seeing texts, private texts between a now former trooper and his wife, showing how grotesquely racist he is, the outlets that he puts forth, which, by the way, Ben Shapiro and the Daily Wire, not exactly fomenting respectability amongst the electorate. Their entire playbook is dividing and conquering. That is how I see it, and that is how many see it. If a shooter invokes Shapiro in their manifesto, you know you're doing something wrong. But I digress. There are white supremacists within the ranks, and it's rather interesting to see for how long Trooper Kennedy kept the mask on. Unless there are documents and troves of evidence that the police department hid, which could very well be. Or if it is the conversations that he had when no one reported him. There is a blue wall of silence that we have discussed so many times on this channel because sadly it is a recurring theme. Now what I'm curious to see is, when is this guy going to get picked up again? Because it will only happen routinely, and it could be for anything, all the way from racism, murder, giving out ridiculous tickets. They all get rehired. So how long is he going to be sidelined for? What state is going to welcome him? The only reason, once more, that we know about this is because of divorce proceedings. If his wife, who clearly knew about this, put up with it, then I'm sure, the department did as well. And many others did as well. So this is, a gift and a curse. Like, it's great that he's gone, but there's still so many more examples likely lingering that so many will not speak on. And that is the saddest part about all of these officers, is that it's not just a bad apple, it's a rotten tree. Hey, I appreciate you watching. Now, if you can, please do become a channel member by going to youtube.com/TYTsports and clicking the join button. If that's too much for you, you can just go to tyt.com/join to become a member. It helps all of us out here at the Young Turks and keeps our network afloat. In addition, you could follow me on my socials on Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok. Appreciate the love. Have a great day. Calling out elite people in comedy should be the rule of thumb.
I think Donald Trump's hair is actually another creature.
Yeah.
The hair's like going, good night, Donald. Good night, Donald. Here we go.
Maybe it goes out. It goes out and makes money while he's asleep.
Yeah. There is something about punching down that feels taboo, and punching up is the way to go.
Crack's not really my thing, but if it was, it would be fine if I was on that side.
Wow.
Don Jr.'s on coke.
We won with poorly educated. I love the poorly educated. I'm a very stable genius.
It is very important, the work that the Jordan Kleppers are doing, the work that the Good Liars are doing, the work that our team here at the Turks are doing, and many more.
Used to see these tackles, now they tackle. Oh, head-on-head collision. Bing, flag. Football's become soft.
You have Trump doing sound effects for tackles. The choice could not be more clear. Like, let's not beat around the bush about it.